Luke Littler trademarks his face. Welcome to Mark and Pete, and today we're looking at a darts player who's precious about his image, maybe for good reasons. This is Mark and Pete, two blokes with half an opinion. Now, here's our first thought.
The face of fame. If you have a favoured, famous face that draws attention to give folk chase, you just need a good hiding place. So wear a paper bag just in case. Well, yes, indeed. What do you do when you're famous and your image is so worth lots of millions of pounds? Well, take the example of Luke Littler. The youngest darts world champion in history has applied to the Intellectual Property Office to trademark his face. Now, many people will probably be very familiar with the image of Luke Littler. He has risen to fame in his profession. Why is this important? Well, many people are concerned that actually, when you capture the image of a person, whether they're a famous sports star, a celebrity, it can actually mean that other people can effectively hijack your image rights. So, what has Luke done? Essentially, is applying to have his image trademarked. Mr. Pete, I think this is a very clever move, especially commercially, where he can apply his image to many different things on darts merchandising. But my thought to here is this really sort of opens up the opportunity to many other celebrities.
Yes, Mr. Mark. Some of them, maybe, I'm just suggesting this, maybe with more attractive faces than Mr. Littler. And not that he's unattractive. Of course, we're big fans of his on this show. But I think that his move there may well be aimed at people using his image, maybe in deep fakes, used in by AI to produce things that he doesn't want to be associated with. Because although it won't stop people using it in the first place, if they're using it for commercial reasons or some way attacking his reputation, then it gives him the easier legal route to suing them. So I think that may be more of the motivation. However, yeah, being able to have the rights to your own image, to your own face, does open you up to if you're well known to lots of commercial opportunities. Luke
Well,
Littler
indeed.
mugs. Well, no, it wouldn't be mugs, but little tiny espresso cups because of Littler. What do you think?
Well, nuts to you. Yes. Well, why
You're
is that?
impressed.
Well, because, yes, Luke Littler has multiple brands such as KP Nuts. And in fact, he uses his
Yes, indeed.
images on those sort of things. Of course, he uses them on dance merchandising, but I think that there are many other things that he can apply his image to. But I think that the idea of being able to do this is not an easy one to maintain. Why? Well, here's one of the biggest threats. It's AI. Because often what can happen is that things that many people can put into, a generic chatbot or something like that to create an image, you will probably find that it'll draw upon various images that are out there on the internet and create one for itself, meaning that it could simulate Luke Littler or any other well known individual. Now, of course, one of the things
Mm.
that's important here isn't just for the commercial side, it's making sure that it's not misrepresented. Because obviously, Luke wouldn't necessarily always want to be applied to certain products or associated with certain things. So the idea behind this is it gives him some kind of legal standing. And I think that that's a good one. Now, I will say, Mr. Pete, that of course I can sort of see a whole new world opening up for lawyers, solicitors all around the world, because it's
Yes, I'm sure.
inevitable, isn't it, that somewhere there's going to be legal
Well,
claims.
it is. I
So
mean,
in many ways, it's not just about the individual, it's about, there are other associated professions that could benefit here.
yes, they could. Yeah, I mean, the idea of your image it has these sort of two sides to it, doesn't it? In that it does mean physical pictures of you, but your image is what people make of you, your reputation. And in the Bible, and in Christian thought, uh, it's said that humans are made in the image of God, and the idea that you take your image seriously because you're effectively representing God in the world is a way of saying that you should be good and take your responsibilities seriously. And if that image is then besmirched, of course, you should also take that seriously. This concept is true, not just in Christianity, but many other religions. The importance of your image, and in Eastern thought, I've noticed. As listeners may not know, I worked out in the Far East for some time, and the idea of face is very important there. Face being sort of the image or reputation that is perceived. So that if your reputation is damaged, it's very, very important. It's and this is something that has always happened, though. People using people's images, physical images, to then besmirch someone's image. But it used to be, people holding up their hands to the paparazzi and say, "Don't take my photo." But now it's sort of don't generate my image, isn't it? Because it can be done without physical
Yes.
presence. So now we have the situation that this is necessary to do this. It's more difficult to prove, at least at this stage, that you've actually violated the image rights. And that's where the lawyers, as you were saying, Mark, happily step in to get a nice big paycheck.
Well, in fact, Luke Littler is not the only one who's gone through this process. Now, if we take some of the famous singers, for example, throughout the world, Taylor Swift being an obvious one, her image has been misused by generation of all sorts of technology. Gen AI has reproduced her image in multiple forms, and that has caused many concerns. And so, this lack of image rights within the law is something that many lawyers have actually said that not just the US, but also the UK, Europe, and Asia need to tighten up. Because I think that when you think about it, is that you are really sort of relying on your image as your business. And whilst your
Yeah.
skill is very much part of it, so in Luke's case, he's obviously very skillful at throwing the dart and being very accurate. In Taylor Swift's case, it's just about singing songs and writing good tunes. But the fact of the matter is, if somebody comes in and basically hijacks your image, you could be in a situation where you as an unsuspecting member of the public could end up buying something that wasn't authenticated. And I think that's the key as well. It's not just about the loss of business to the artist or to the expert, it's also to protect the consumer. I think that's the other side of this, isn't it? It's buyer beware.
Yes. I think that's important. Yes. I think that misrepresenting someone is important, not just for the person involved in the. We were talking about Luke Littler, but others.
Yes.
Um, but for people who are seeing that image, if they think it is actually them, the person they want to see, and it isn't, then they're being cheated out of being actual, whatever it is, being able to see the actual person, or they may, then have a bad impression of the person, depending on how the image is being used. Maybe some deep fake use, which represents the person in a bad light. Then you've got mental stress of the person, of the
Yep.
fans of the person.
Yeah.
So it is a good move. It's sad in a way that it's necessary, but it is a good move.
Well, and many lawyers are saying smart branding decisions are key here. And of course, what we're really looking for, and they're saying, is a legal framework around AI and copyright, as well as trademark, because trademarks remain one of the most effective tools to control commercial use of your own image. So whether it's on a poster, whether it's on a t-shirt, etc., these are the sort of things that can help people to make sure that the artist is protected and also, of course, the consumer. Unless, of course, you just happen to see it as an ugly mug.